big, everyone trying to get out of it. In these esoteric streets, everyone better get out of it. Art, nigga, you really be out of it. Out of body experience, leave a vessel vacant. Anywhere I go, then I made it. Right into a new spotlight, God to my spirit and just left it naked. It's even getting cold in the summertime. Listen, you gon' need an extra blanket. And an esoteric lawyer and a shield just to guard your ass. Cause your weak ass energy, I don't want no parts of that. You claim that you're really hard, you ain't where the dogs be at. And all you do is follow trends, you are just a copycat. No motherfucker never copy at. You ain't never been a dislocation. You might think it's a bit low maintenance. You need a check with a glyph, no saying. Trust me, even that bitch no saying. I don't really wanna miss no changes. Cause trust me, life is just amazing. Somebody that talk with your mental. Surprised that you still alive, blah, 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 blah. Don't even know what you be into. Cause you always give me blah, 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 blah. But I'm not trying to blame you. But I just copy a blah, 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 blah. Yeah, alright, please don't leave me alone. Yeah, seem to think you through the red light. Where the birdie left a letter, the birdie left a letter, yeah. Seem to think you through the red light. Where the birdie left a letter, the birdie left a letter, yeah. When it's sad, shit, I had to get on my grind. How you expect for me to know if you never give me a sign? You got me thinking that you got a lot of people willing to sit in a line. And that ain't my line of business. I'm in the sky and lifted. Meditation, esoteric, kung fu, I'm with an iron fist this. Why you keep lying, bitches? Why you don't mind your business? They got your mind in trenches. Bound to hear for 1,000 years. I know you waiting on that day you can get the key and get the fuck out of here. Somebody to fuck with your mental. Sometimes I need to go blah, 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 blah. Don't really know what you be into. Cause you always give me blah, 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 blah. I'm not just something you. But I just call me a blah, 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 blah. Yeah, alright, please don't leave me alone. Yeah. Now, check it out. We're going to get into some real deep scholarship for your mind. You know, so you can understand that it ain't, your mind is powerful, but not what somebody else taught you was powerful about, for you to go scam. You know what I'm saying? For you to get into degenerate behaviorships, you know, and all this type of stuff that y'all kind of start losing y'all mind after the fact. So you got to like get on track. And you're going to start to see the trickle-down effect and why you even got your wiring systems, like your veins and everything of that nature, and how everything's set up as far as in the portions and why one thing is plugged into another. You really look inside your body. A lot of y'all never seen it unless you got the doctor psyop or whatever. But you don't even need these things to kind of understand that, oh, inside my body ain't nothing but a whole bunch of plugs and sockets. Plugs and sockets. And all you got to know is the specific plug and where that specific socket at. For an example, when you understand these things, now it's good to get x-rays and stuff like that, but this ain't about that. I don't want people conflating with this stuff and then something get colonized, and then for you to even have common sense, you got to go through some type of institution. We ain't got time for all that. We're talking about this. You born out somebody's booty hole and you automatically know these concepts or whatever the case may be, and don't ever let it go past that. Ever let it go past that. But first, when you start to get on track with this mind and it's condensing into the things that's fine wine that's flowing through you, some of y'all be aging like milk and stuff like that. But it's something. But you could produce fine wine. That esoteric holy water, you can make wine out of it. Get everybody elixired up, just being around your vibe, your aura, your energy and stuff like that. And I'm high off your energy. It's just your energy, yeah. You know what I'm saying? You could have a socket in the right calf that have a plug that go to the next socket that's on the left side of your body. And if you're not really understanding the outside within and the inside without, you won't be able to know that connection, right? And it'll be a lot of times just by your daily movements or daily lack thereof, you could have less blood flow in one area than another. And then you get that part organ or part ligament feeling like it's sleep, aka it just ain't no blood flowing through it at the moment. The life. We're creating life when we create thoughts that condense and become feeling, and then the death portion of it when we give it how we created that in the first place, more thoughts and feelings. Once that previous one that was a thought and feeling become fleshly fluid and organ, we give the death more life. So we create life, thought and feeling, it produce and become death, physical form, and then to keep that death alive, we give it more life, thought and feeling. So if you're a person that lack the attachment of creating thoughts and feelings that you can harness to develop that care around, then you could be in the same accident as someone else, but they will be able to hold on to their life longer than yours because they're producing more thoughts and feelings that go directly to the organ that produced external things that don't have anything to do with the organ, but it has everything to do with it, that make a person develop the care energy to be able to be in that spot long enough to develop more of those original thoughts and feelings that produce those original blood cells in that particular area to make that particular organ that have got damaged in that car accident that you probably was on the passenger side or the driver's side of, and you ain't in that cognition. Pardon me. So for the most part, you lack the development of thought and feeling that produces that actual blood that actually became that fungus in that organ in the first place, then you don't have it as a well-oiled running machine when it start to get damaged. So the healing process is slower, if it heals at all, and you probably had the same damaged wound as the person that you was next to in the whip, but you ain't survived. You know what I'm saying? And then you could say this is pseudo, but I don't care if it's a doctor or your family member or your friend, associate, or coworker who knew you before that happened. The only thing they gonna say is, well, maybe they had bad genes. Well, maybe the difference was because that person's DNA, his friend DNA or her friend DNA was stronger than they did. You're about to make up the same analysis, just different words that you just feel more comfortable with in Michael Jordan, Walt Disney World. But no one want to attack the solution. How's we producing that blood cell in the first place? You know what I'm saying? So before we want to go cast stones at Ariel, right? Ask yourself this. You want to know where monkeys come from all the time. Once you ask real questions, all species you know got blood. Where do blood come from then? You got your thought, you got your blood. How did blood become specific? How did your thoughts become specific for you? Not Pacific Ocean swimming around, but specifically yours. You got everybody can't get your blood and your blood type. Sometimes y'all mother blood type is me and my mother got O negative. A lot of y'all, your mother got AB, you got a recession gene, the other one got the monkey gene, whatever y'all call these things. And goddamn it, you if something happened to you, you can't even use the blood you came out of. You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, all this goes to representative of personal concepts and awarenesses before we want to start once a person become a fetus and we think humans is here. But before we even talk about any species, we got to talk about where blood come from. Before we talk about aliens, anything, y'all be getting lost in retardedness. I'd be like, so do aliens got blood? Because if an alien ain't got no blood, that means they ain't got no thoughts. And if an alien ain't got no blood, it ain't got no thought, it don't exist. So, tell me what atmosphere it's surviving through. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. The atmosphere is condensed off thoughts and feelings. Don't get too lost, humans. Don't get too lost, because y'all get lost in the very same thing that you create to produce for you to have cognitive energies. You'll use your cognitive skills to come up with something non-cognitive. No, I said you'll use your common sense to come up with something that don't make sense to any common person around you. You know what I'm saying? You got to have the right starting points to even be in a position like how I be in. Even if you want to think I'm wrong, you can't get out of that starting point, though. You got to start to build around the starting point before you can even get into if I'm wrong or right. Because life ain't got nothing to do with wrong or right. Something is a mechanism, and it is you going to do the mechanism or you ain't. You either did the mechanism the right way or you didn't. You either planted a seed in the ground or you didn't. Ain't no other way or whatever, unless you go to the grocery store and get a big old watermelon with no seeds in it. Get a whole big old goddamn serum shot, Captain America goddamn steroid in the side and the ankle of a grape with no seed in it. Unless you're going to get those things or whatever the case. No, I'm saying, don't come talking to me about nothing about nature. Over that. Over that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm just trying to get y'all some real stuff there and let you know. New moon. We still a new moon in Gemini. Waiting on all the uploads of Patreon and everything else. And we're going live again tomorrow to let y'all know life after the new moon. So you can know how to move. Usually a lot of y'all be slow and think, oh, it's over. I survived. No. Just because you've seen other people didn't survive and stuff don't mean it's over. No, it ain't over. It's every day is an uphill battle and things of that nature until your spirit expand big enough and you could share space with some good quality other spirits and stuff like that. Then you could feel like you got some communion. Without no communion or whatever the case may be. That's why a lot of y'all feel the way y'all feel, even when you are around a million other people or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? You probably got coming up with ideas in your mind how to get rid of a million people. Some of them, your mama, your aunties, some of them, your grandfather. Some of these people be a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? But before we even get into the good, we 12 minutes in. Might as well go straight to it. You know what I'm saying? So we can break it down in orders. Break it down in order. So this is what we need to understand as a disclaimer, right? It's tension span, right? The tension span is a direct or indirect, which I'm going to break these things down in layers. There's always a reason why I don't say stuff for no reason. If you don't hear me talking about something, because I don't know about it. And it's very small percentage scales of life I don't know about. So the things you hear me talk about seem like it's about everything. Very small percentage scale to a lot of people running their mouth, and it sound like it may be about everything. You know what I'm saying? That you just may be lost in because you didn't sat in the line for Jordans. You know what I'm saying? You probably got your what's the California Buccaneers hats on right now and stuff like that. All the jerseys and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Still regretting to this day. So you got to peep game. You got to peep game. You got to step up your awareness and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because you got a lot of thoughts. You know, I seen a lot of these clips. People in New York, hormones and stimuli way above average when it comes to percentage scale that it's supposed to be and stuff like that. So you ain't about to sit here and tell me a spirit choose to be in a certain space. Your spirit, your individual spirit just means multiple. You got your soul, equilibrium. We all got a space. Multiple, we all got a space. Call it spirit. When you got an individual one, it's solo. Got a soul. I seen when it's in that space, and then they got another bunch of spirits there. That certain space in the spirit world got this type of stimuli thoughts. Then it bend down and condense and become adrenaline. And we got New York City right now and stuff like we got the Knicks game and we got, you know what I'm saying? That's all I need to really say. I don't care about people who be talking about pseudo or whatever. I know what I've been talking about. You could one spirit in the NBA spirit space in the spirit world and another spirit ain't. One developing a certain thought, getting ready to crash out. One somewhere, still be able to get up in the morning without a headache. You ain't drunk, nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to, I don't be wanting, you know what I'm saying? Y'all don't be knowing that, man. I don't really want to listen to y'all. Y'all don't be knowing about life sometimes. Y'all just want to argue. That's all y'all want to do. Y'all don't want to listen and commune. Good communion shit. Y'all say y'all just want to get some stupid shit. No, it's just come stupid. You know what I'm saying? I don't got time for that. But look, check this out. The tension span is a direct or indirect moderator or I would say spotter or whatever the case, because that's not the word I'm really looking for, but indicator. That's the word I'm looking for. The tension span is a direct or indirect indicator of the size of a space, aka spirit. See what I'm saying? So for the most part, here's the thing. Somebody stupid can't play smart, but a smart person can play stupid. Now let's remix this with my conscious level so you can help you understand, so I can help you understand your spirit. A smart person can play stupid, but a stupid person can't play smart. A wide spirit can play small, but a small spirit can't play big. But a small spirit always going to strive and try to be big. So for the most part, here's where you have to separate whatever you develop from the physical and the external world from the spirit and the mind. Now the spirit makes the mind condense, become the physical, then the external world, in that order, and things of that nature. Now a small spirit can't. It's tricky because a lot of times a small spirit will convince you to play their game, so you only think you're intelligent by playing a stupid thing from a spiritual perspective. So let's say you're losing or you're winning. Losing gets you upset. Winning makes you feel gooder. Makes you feel better, right? Or however the case may be. So once you start to lose whatever that false game is, or whatever the case may be, you no longer have the self-pride there. If those external or minorly internal attributes, egos and stuff, is not there. Validation is not there. And you're supposed to still maintain the spiritual size and a position even when the external results or minor internal results ain't stimuli for you to feed off of. It's supposed to be something you're always supposed to produce, and if you lose it, it's supposed to know how to get it again. And in the spiritual world, you don't know what those things are to point to, but in the physical world, you're pointing to a synthetic version of it that doesn't necessarily have the same results, and it's not even it at all, but it's made to appear like it is. And a lot of times, this is where you play foolish games and win stupid prizes. Do things thinking you're doing it the right way, but end up like a white collar, blue collar type of business, and it still end up being a mistake. Like you're playing a game and somebody changed the rules on you or something like that. You see what I'm saying? So you gotta be careful. There's certain things you ain't even supposed to attach yourself to just because it has a synthetic look that mimics something that you're supposed to be developing on your own, regardless of the extra perks or the external or minor internal results is a stimuli from it or not, to make you feel like it's something you could feed off of and make you be aware that it's a fruit or not. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes all fruits or all things that we produce ain't always there to be ate. Some things are there for a shield. Some things is there for a sword. Some things is there for a shelter. Some things is there for protection. Some things is there for a peephole of another angle to see an awareness before that awareness develop as a fruit, to see other spirits go to it like spiritual bugs and try to feed off of it, and it play out in the third dimension like just one trying to manipulate another. But for the most part, it's helping you understand real cognition skills and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Things you already know, and you go off track as you start to live. Certain cultures still got this intact. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't help to see things, nothing else but in this aspect. You got certain Asian cultures and things of that nature. But depending on how it's talked about, you'll get confused. Like, let's say we're talking about video games and stuff like that. The Asians got a video game like what's that game called? Persona. It kind of touches it really don't got anything to do with what I'm talking about, but it kind of in that field of reality of what we already are building on, and you lose track of that when you get into video games, or when you get into I want my favorite Jordans, or when you get, so you lose the aspect of being like, I could develop a better silhouette, and maybe I could work at Jordans or come up with my own shoe, and just the silhouette I come up with could get me the same position as a Michael Jordan who had to do all these other jumping through fire hula hoop monkey tricks or whatever the case may be. Just off the cognition of understanding Okay, yeah, it's one aspect of why people are attracted to it, because maybe a famous sports person is wearing it and sponsoring it and slap their logo and their name on it, or whatever the case. Then there's another quality to it. Ain't nobody just gonna be buying anything either, because there was a such thing as another basketball player named Stephon Marbury that came out with a shoe and it's just compared it to the S. Dot Carters and Birdmans, and you know what I'm saying? It's about the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So at some point, it is, you got to think about the silhouette too. They all about your name. You can't be rocking your people to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Or Kanye West would have been and sold y'all 1,000 shirts with about 1,000 holes in it that you could have then bought a Walmart shirt and put 1,000 holes in it with yourself with the cognition and be like, well, what, I'm going to buy 1,000 Walmart shirts and put 1,000 holes in it myself and then charge the same price Kanye West is charging. And now you separating it from, oh, the Jordan, the name, the logo, the Kanye West, the name, the backing or whatever, the cotton skills, the silhouette, that's half the. Now, here's the thing. Now you're on a battle. You're competing. People may not see you, but after a while, if you don't give up your work in, when it's time for your season, and then all that stain from Michael Jordan and Kanye West come around, and people wake up out from drinking the Kool-Aid, like, wait a minute, I ain't drunk off the Kool-Aid no more. This ain't nothing but a shirt with holes in it. Oh, this ain't nothing but the same color you came out with the last 30 years. The same shoe, extra $300 on it. So now you start to think, like, wait a minute. Now, if you ain't give up, guess who gold? Guess who got something to fulfill that empty pocket that you ain't know was an empty pocket? We creating spaces and opportunities in this mother. You know what I'm saying? Because all you got to do is not give up. And you put in all that work and you ain't care about all that value, all the synthetic other stuff that other people was working hard towards that made them put a lot of stuff in the back seat. Now, if you probably got way more mixtapes, way more albums, way more songs, way more than all these cats. As soon as they come back around, ain't going to be no way for nobody to compete. Because you did it the natural way that God said to do it. You know what I'm saying? So your silhouette, the most creative, you lose that shoe, somebody copy that one, you could do it again. People start, then that stain start to lose up because people start realizing, like, wait a minute, they get these new silhouettes from somebody who ain't on no billboard commercial. You know what I'm saying? So like God got you after that. You just got to work for God. A lot of y'all be scared to work for God because it take time and stuff like. So you must be some early earth creationist, you know what I'm saying, type of scholarship, or so you don't see things, stuff happen like that. You know, some Avenger favorite movie watcher or something like that, just get all Infinity Rings and like Thanos could become Sonic like that. You know, you just think it's like, you think life is like, a lot of y'all ended up in jail, like a lot of y'all ended up out of y'all relationships, like a lot of y'all lost y'all jobs, like a lot of it was like that. You got to get out your mind. Get out your mind. Oh, now, I had to break all that down as a disclaimer so people can understand what's actually going on. It's about awareness now. So, the attention span is a direct or indirect indicator of the size of a space, aka a spirit. So, like I said, going back, because I'm a master orator, a smart person could play dumb, but a dumb person can't play smart. A dumb person, not necessarily, everybody is intelligent. They only know how to intelligently go for their biases. Your awareness and you dealing with your biases might be more evolved than another individual. So you see things about yourself that they haven't seen about themselves, but it's just as simple as this. If you share similar organs to someone else, then for the most part, that's the common thing that don't change. How you do it is the only thing that change. The how could turn into an ego, then you start thinking that no one will even have a thought like you in some way, shape, or form. And it may not be as sufficient, but just the more you make a sufficient of a similar thought, you got to dig in the balls like somebody else. Just because you come up with a more sufficient version of it, that's just going to lead into manipulation, not you being more intelligent. So everybody have a form of intelligence. We just don't give grace where intelligence is played at, based upon intelligence is more on a piggybacking of what Michael Jordan and Walt Disney taught us at the moment. If it gets you more money, if it gets you more validation, people-pleasing positions, or whatever the case may be, and get you these badges, whatever. It ain't nothing wrong with these things. I'm just trying to help people understand there's a way of developing where these things came from for you to have that on you first, so you're wearing something and it's in you and it's not on you. Therefore, somebody take it off like it's just on you. You don't know what to do. without that ego, without that validation. But if it's in you, you could lose it and get it all again, or do something completely different and have everybody in the world chasing what you do, aka because you ain't doing nothing but producing gold and creativity or new ideologies that actually makes more sense in reality, that we can start to build things off of and start to have better communion amongst each other. So the attention span is a direct or indirect indicator of the size of a space, aka a spirit. So a person who's dumb a lot of times and can't even play smart, they have to have more experiences so they could go through that birth, life, death process, which we're getting ready to get into. The carnation, incarnation, reincarnation. Not what y'all thinking about. This is a development that goes on 24/7 throughout the day. You're just experiencing a more clunky version that came from a lighter version of it, and different quantities of it is what you tap into, and then what you start to think you experience in life and what you don't want to get rid of. But you're experiencing this in different many forms. You just get attached to one of the forms that you think is more important, most important, and then y'all start calling each other humans and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's the thing, right? Large spirits can maintain a lot. Small spirits can't and need to grow more, aka more cognitive experiences to match with the physical experiences are proper to match. They need to grow more, aka more cognitive experiences to match with the physical experiences that they're having, aka a proper explanation about why you move your left elbow, why you're going what you're going through. That's basically to make it simple or whatever. So when I say a small spirit can't maintain a lot, but a large spirit can, right? That's a direct result of what attention span is. A person with a short attention span can't focus on particulars for long periods of time to develop how we're making our organs in the first place. The attention span develops and become a stimuli. So once you already do something like you're fulfilled, you're on to the next thing. But then you forget to keep the one thing you just did fruitful. So when you stop giving those thoughts and feelings to the organ that originated from that original space you was in, thoughts and feelings, you stop producing it to be a natural, well-oiled running machine. So now it's going off as autopilot, something you already know how to do, but you're using that effort, that energy to make yourself fatigued in another area that you're excited about. You're always rushing for the new, a new experience, a new mental, a new idea, a new adrenaline, but you abuse the form you already did to keep that going, to make new ones. And here's how you fatigue yourself. Here's how you start to get old and outdated things and create the old and outdated energy that don't have to be, because you find something at work and you don't want to let it go. Now we start to experience these things in physical reality now, and this is where y'all coming up with extremities when it comes to death and hell and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's not allowing yourself to let go once you have clinged on to a cognitive energy that you think that you won't be able to survive without, yet you got it already. That means you already produced it and it's already flowing as adrenaline to an organ that needs to continue as a natural oil running machine, so it can help you and lessen the fatigue when you're using all your energies for just one particular. You need to have all these energies in a well-oiled running machine type of hardware store within your body. So anytime you're doing something new, you're fully up for it. And that goes for concepts, ideas, expansion, and body withdrawal when it comes into depletion and repletion. So you always repleting, depleting, repleting, depleting, repleting, depleting, filling yourself up, deplete, filling yourself up, deplete, filling yourself up, deplete. And then therefore you're acting out a pulse, because the spirit go through an experience, expand, then contract in that experience, condense, and then we got expansion, condense. That's how we're making layers and springing off what we're considering from its most macro stage at the moment: spring, summer, fall, winter as a cycle. But it's really just expansion, contraction. So when you get expansion, then the life of that expansion, spring, summer. Then when you get contraction, the ability to start to contract before it actually contract, that's fall and winter. You know what I'm saying? So that takes us into the cognitive energies that we created to experience all of us being able to be aware of spring, summer, fall, and winter, but also have the characteristics behind it. Giving birth to something, spring, giving life to something, summer, experiencing the deterioration of something or the separation of something, fall, and then the destruction of something or the destroying of it or whatever, the renewal of it, winter or whatever. So it's helping us understand this process and where that four come from also as spirit. Then we create the second, your mind. Then we create the third, it condensing into the flesh. Then we create the fourth, that teamwork makes the dream work, to create separation, the whole external world. And that's how we're all being able to see the same thing through our own lens, because we all did something similar just in our own way. And that mechanism play out as a whole thing at once when we are experiencing spring, summer, fall, and winter. And you have your micro version, and each species have their micro version of it. Now, so for the most part, large spirits can maintain a lot. That means harness a lot of what you're considering memory, but it's just the spirit being able to harness a form. And first forms are your first body, mental forms. Before you call it memory, memory became mental forms you harness that you start to compare and contrast. There's some you want to let go, and there's some you want to hold on to, but you're no longer in that space anymore to develop those residues to condense to become an external experience. So it only play as the adrenaline and the current to act off on what you're trying to produce for future wise, push off more fire, more experiences or whatever, by all the cognitive energies you have developed from the previous circumstance of present, future. That's becoming the past. But you being able to counterpartmentalize the contrast of these things, right? This is what y'all considering memory. But it's really our ability to understand when we create an awareness, that's birth. When we're inside of it, creating more micro versions of it, to create the concept of macro, micro, or expansion of condensing, that's life. When we start to see it deteriorate or transition, right? That's fall. So now we got spring, summer, fall, deterioration, and then we got death, right? The ability to get out of that, expand, or we created expansion now in real time, being bigger than the thing you created originally that you was inside of. So as a spirit, if you created a mind, the first thing you created from the inside out is what you inside of by default, simultaneously. Your own mind, your first body. Then that works as a communion in that. You're doing the same thing over and over again inside that. Now it becomes a womb or whatever, right? That become a fleshly fluid. Now it's becoming overlap, and it's becoming flesh. Now teamwork makes the dream work. We all doing that next to each other. That's everything we're producing in nature, and all spirits that's smaller than us that come after us could come out through us. And this is where we're getting all bugs, bacteria, mosquitoes, all fungus, and all these type of things. We're bringing all of each other in life, not just your same species. We bringing all of each other in life, all the species and things of that nature, right? So when you understand it from that aspect, right, your spirit is based upon your space, and then we're developing things in our space, and that become all of our awarenesses, right? But then that's becoming your particular blood, your particular organs, your particular, because that's coming from your particular thought, your particular awareness. So here's the thing, right? So also, once space become more aware of itself, it also now has the ability to come together with other spaces to create a new space, aka a new spirit. A smaller is smaller in space, less self-aware, because if we're creating a space, but other spaces is already in this energy, you're creating the energy in your bubble, right? So because it's a conflation of words. We're already in this space, developing your own energy in your space, a collection of thoughts and feelings or whatever. And if that's a focus and that carves out another space can become aware in that space, but already in a surrounding of what other spaces have created in that awareness. You see what I'm saying? Because people probably think, how can space become aware? This is how you got your space, and you know what you want in and out of your space, and everything that created around your space is your bubble. So for the most part, when other spirits become aware for the first time, they already got substance that spaces create, awareness. So when they use their smaller awareness that match their smaller spirit within that larger awareness, within that larger space, we create the concept of being able to give birth to your same species after a while and things of that nature, and giving birth from the inside out of other things that's smaller than you. So this is how your blood cells got their own concept going on, right? All the way down to bacteria, fungus, lice, everything, right? These come from inside you. If you're following, now I don't want to bring in all this because they like to use certain weird stuff, but sometimes I still got to compare and contrast. If you're listening to like the Age of Enlightenment, like Europe type of science or whatever, right? That they made that up there. We don't teach that here in some way, unless they're gonna cosplay it or whatever. But I can guarantee they can never tell. They don't have the right starting points, so they're questioning, and studies is not even going to be in the right aspect. So they're never going to have questions like where blood come from, where a bug come from, where an ant come from, where lice come from. Is it going to be an infinite regress concept, because that's how they think about the universe, that's how they think about anything. So if you ask Google or some Age of Enlightenment type of scholarship that we're using today, where do ant come from? It's gonna take you to a geographical location. Then you're gonna be like, okay, where's the ancestor of that? It's gonna take you to an older ancestor, to the point that where did anything come from then? You're not even making no sense of what's developing for something to be. You know what I'm saying? You can't say monkeys come from Africa without describing, if a monkey got blood, the hell with a monkey, there's other species with blood. Obviously, the blood is more important than the species. So where the blood come from? You know what I'm saying? Not no damn you see what I'm saying? You didn't come from no monkey, you come from blood. So you got to understand how blood is developed. So if spirits, a space, if you don't like the word spirit, space, harnessing space, condensing awareness, and that becoming adrenaline, if you don't want to have that as a starting point, then you ain't gonna never reach no conclusion on why you have your particular blood from and you got your particular thoughts. Why it ain't somewhere that everybody just go and be like, okay, I want this thought because I need more blood. You ain't gonna never get that. Yet you producing thoughts daily and producing blood daily, and you just lie to yourself that it's just happening miraculously. That's your problem. That's what's humans' problems. Y'all make up dumb stuff if it ain't got nothing to do with y'all making money off of it. Yet all the stuff that got something to do with life ain't take no money. It ain't take no money for your mother to know she had to wipe your ass if she ain't want your Pampers stinking all over. You know what I'm saying? It ain't take nobody to be rich for your father to know, oh, I must put my dick in this hole right here and another baby come in the world. And none of these things that for you to even be here to start thinking in the first place took place for you to have your starting points. Y'all starting points don't even be involving with nothing how y'all be here in the first place. Just like when a person start talking about semen retention or whatever the case may be. If your mother and father was thinking like that, you wouldn't be here. So anything you get ready to make up why it makes sense for you, because you don't get no hoes. It ain't got nothing to do with nothing else. It ain't got nothing to do with no church you just went to. It got nothing to do with you getting out of the mental asylum because you tired of goddamn being a robber or thief and white collar, blue collar thief. It ain't got nothing to do with none of that. I'm saying, y'all just be making up stuff that Michael Jordan and Walt Disney taught y'all to give importance to, and then y'all still don't get it. You still ain't getting no holes. No matter how much you practice semen, you ain't glow no lighter. You ain't glow no lighter. I'm gonna tell you right now, you probably got a little sick. You know what I'm saying? Oh, for that. Now look. So, all right, let's run through this because it's an actual order to this. Let me stop being funny. It's an actual order to this. So let me just run it down clear. So like I said, the attention span is a direct or indirect. And when I say indirect, because a lot of times you could be around someone who's playing stupid, but maybe very smart. So it may be an indirect indicator of the spirit size also. But for the most part, the attention span is a direct or indirect, because a lot of times a person may or might know everything you're saying, but since they ain't giving you no reaction or whatever the case, you might think they don't know about what you're talking about. They might be well informed. They just might be so frustrated about talking about it, and they know how the space you in. They probably was already there, been there and done that. So they already know how you might handle the form of reaction that they already dealt with and probably wasn't reacting that way, and they ain't got time for all that, whatever. And they see that you just pushing the issue. It's a whole lot of things that people just be more intelligent than other individuals when they shut up. You know what I'm saying? A lot of person who sit there and battle talk with you is just they just got happy of knowing the amount of information about it that you knew. So now that's the only reason y'all competing. That person ain't well versed in that world either or something. They using it for ego at the moment. You know what I'm saying? That goes for everything. Always keep track of the reality that's going on first before you get lost into all the other stuff that a person using it for, and you'll be colder than them on that aspect of it too. When you sit still for a little bit in the spirit world, just see what's happening at the moment. What's going on? Okay, this is what's going on. Ain't nothing else going on but this. This spirit from they wouldn't think no other way because they coming from this position. They wouldn't even know I'm or even exist if I wasn't in this position. All right, boom. All right, now what? Then go from the situation there. Y'all don't never start the situations there, and this is how y'all be getting taken advantage of, having people around y'all thinking they fooling y'all or whatever. And these things be going on for like years and years. So a lot of times you got to be true to the game. Read how deep and invested and how much, especially when it comes to lineage and stuff, how much a person is accepting it and think it's going to work. You got to sometimes go on that level because they didn't had 1,000 ideas of how they think you already going to be and stuff. So you got to reverse it and throw the eyeball back and do a million things they ain't even prepared for. So, you know what I'm saying? Now here, but for the most part, but that's how you got to peep game because ain't no human smart. You got to understand that all humans' intelligence is only catered to their bias. Once you understand a bias, you'll start to realize what you was calling intelligence, what Michael Jordan and Walt Disney taught us. No, a person is very dumb now. Everybody dumb now. They're just intelligently doing their bias. So once you understand the bias, you kick the bias can down the road. It ain't nothing for a human to do anymore. Even when they start to question, they're gonna question their own intelligence, and it ain't gonna be about intelligence anymore. It's gonna be about am I involved in the right thing or not. That's all it's gonna lead to. It ain't gonna have nothing to do with right or wrong. It's gonna have something to do with am I going to hell or not. You know what I'm saying? As you put every spirit in that position, because all humans is dumb when you really close to the great spirit. If you ain't close to the great spirit, you ain't no spirit yourself. You just wandering around while still in the being a spirit. So you just don't believe in yourself. So you just believe in some other retarded spirit that may have half believed in themselves a little more than you. So that's what you was in search for, that being up under that comfort haven. Another degenerate spirit that was in a human body. That was it though. But at some point, both y'all nuts. Now here's the thing, right? And then with a lot of things y'all cling on to claim that it works or whatever the case, no, it worked for someone's pocket or it works for someone's ego. It didn't work on you could do a cartwheel and plant 10 watermelon seeds and stuff like that. It ain't work that way. You got, matter of fact, the kids that's being born now, barely being born with kneecaps and stuff. Thank God we ain't got that air walking and stuff no more. You know what I'm saying? Y'all organs getting less and more weak. So yeah, let me start teaching y'all how to build y'all organs back up. Now look, also, so once space become aware, you know what I'm saying, of itself, it also now has the ability to create a new space, aka the space or the spirit that's smaller in space, less self-aware on a percentage scale until developing via space expansion, aka birth, life, death, aka carnation, incarnation, reincarnation, formations of forms cycle. So when you hear me say these things, get that common stupid stuff out your mind. When you hear me say, pardon me, reincarnation, or when you hear me say birth, life, death, right? You ain't gotta die right now. You can give birth to something new, give it life, and give it death, right? And that would be the same thing as the AKA, as known as, what you just gave birth to. That's a carnation, some new carbon, some new carnage that whether it's destruction or beautiful or whatever, right? Then you get ready to go inside of it and take that form. Whether your spirit jump inside that mental form and you feel like you that now, or you lost in the physical world and it's a car, just get the image of somebody's name on it. You jumped into it and you think you better than somebody else now. But however the case it may be, right? So that's incarnation. And then reincarnation. Can you do it again if you lose that car? Can you go get another one of them cars, or do you want that same headache bill or whatever the case may be? You know what I'm saying? Or did you go reincarnate into something? You know what I'm saying? So it's carnate, incarnate, reincarnate, birth, life, death, before you get lost. Now, if you see these large on a percentage scale being played out in life, you got to know your spirit do that. So anytime your spirit create a form to be inside of, that's an experience. That's a form of expansion. But when you get involved in experience, Simultaneously, that's a form of contraction, right? So everything you inside of as a spirit has a pulse. So expand, contract, experience, expand, live out the experience, contract. Once your spirit finalize that experience, your spirit is bigger than that previous form now. So now your spirit is bigger. Now you are able to sustain more comprehension, more awareness or whatever. So you could develop more adrenaline to your previous organs that you already made if you're still alive. But in the spirit world, it's you being a bigger spirit, and you put death to what you just gave birth and lived in. And now that carnation that you went inside of, you can do the same thing in a different space. So it ain't the same thing, it's the similar, it's the what that's the same, but how you do it is different. So this how you the same spirits in a different mind and body. And you can have more awareness than a spirit that you even came through that may be born in this time zone before you. But your spirit may have been here longer than them. So in this human washing machine cycle, here's how you could be a younger spirit, more intelligent than a spirit that's in an older mind and body physically than you at the moment. Spiritually, you have more experiences because this is just an ability. Birth, life, death, carnation, incarnation, reincarnation. How you did it more times than that person. So you went through more experiences, similar experiences, and learned how to deal with it than this individual. So even though you're younger, you put the piano keys together better, whether it's a piano or not. You gave this person a more common sense way of going about something to not cause a more erratic emotion than the previous in their and your own lifetime. You see what I'm saying? And there is no other way to make that make sense unless you get ready to get lost and capitalize somebody. They make everybody else fight for it and talk about they need a badge or whatever. Just like, what's that homegirl name? Brian, Cheyenne, Brent, whatever her name is, whatever day. Whoever, that whole job is coonery. I don't care who it is. Her and anybody claiming they got a PhD from it, anybody claiming they went to college, anybody claiming the psychology of anything is a scam. That means colonists are scammers who made college degrees out of it, and anybody out here using common sense, but then have to cosplay like they're institutionalized doing it. All of them are scammers because it's a made-up job. When we start talking about capitalism and colonists or whatever, every job is a made-up job. You either talk to your own people spiritually, religiously, and lineage-wise, or you're trying to colonize and capitalize somebody who don't understand where you're coming from, and you're trying to make them understand because you want your bank account bigger. That's the only thing that's going on. And that's the only where all problems coming from. Other than that, everybody be minding their business and only come together when we all want to watch wrestling or something like that. Other than that, all these other problems come from degenerate humans. That ain't got nothing to do with life, nothing, and y'all all retarded. Now, for the most part, here's the thing, right? Now, when it comes into it's in this order, right? When it comes into the awareness developing as flesh, right? So it's awareness, cognition, condensing, contract, produce, sensation, visualization, stimulation, then fluid. You could sit and meditate or sit. You might not like the word meditate. You could sit and just think, ponder. And you're going to start to see each instant before you even become a feeling and adrenaline. And you're going to see that you made something move or whatever. Whether you want to wait around for someone else to give you the word for it because you ain't got you and your lineage to be like, this the word we're going to call it. This what it is. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, you're foolish. Now, awareness, a happening. Cognition, when you're comprehending that awareness. Condensing, when you're involved, you're trying to understand that happening that you're comprehending. Understanding is condensing. Contract, analyzing. You're inside of it and you're trying to counterpartmentalize. This is what's over here. This is what's over here. This was over here. This was over here. That's contract. Produce. When it's producing, that's you grounding. making sense out of something. Well, I don't know what I want, but we ain't got the word thirsty yet. You don't know the word thirsty. You just know your mother get ready to stick her nipple inside your goddamn mouth or whatever the case when you just came out your mama's ass or whatever. But produce, you're grounding, making sense. Sensation, feeling it. Visualization, seeing it. You feel it, then you can see it. It ain't, you know what I'm saying? It ain't how y'all, it's going right in this order. You're aware, something happening. Cognition, you're comprehending something happening. Condensing, you're starting to understand, even if it ain't got nothing to do with your money or your bias. Contracting, you're analyzing what you're trying to understand so you can have a grip on it, right? Producing, that becomes the grip. Now you're grounding, you're making sense out of it. Even if it's something you still don't understand, you're still, you have no choice but to do something. You're making sense that you don't understand something. You see what I'm saying? So no matter what space you in, you can't not do these things, right? Then that develops as a sensation, right? You're feeling it, you like this, and I'm feeling it, and then you start feeling it. You feel when you dumb and you don't know something, or you feel when you understand and you ground something. It's either way, it's that feeling. You still develop a feeling beyond how you did it. If it was dumb or you understood, or you didn't understand it was dumb, but it was the feeling. We're talking about beyond what y'all giving y'all bias to. It's biasly yours, but don't forget the mechanism is fixed. Now, and then you got visualization. That sensation that you feel, visualization, you can see it now. You can say, oh, I put the key in that hole. Well, I've got too many kids. However y'all do it. And then for the most part, boom, stimulation. So the stimulation is materialized. It's actually materialized. So once you're stimuli, you got that adrenaline now, stimulation, you have materialized a fleshly fluid. You have materialized the fleshly fluid. It's now a physical extracted form from the internal mechanism of forms brought from a lighter stage, then multiplied and became heavy in its substance, and now it's something that can be tangible. A thought of fleshly fluid. You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, this becomes substance beyond particle, or what y'all call atoms. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't really no such thing as atoms or particles. It's what I'm talking about. So if we're going to talk about an atom or a particle, we're talking about a thought. Ain't nothing smaller. You can't weigh a thought. The next thing that come after that is a collection of thoughts coming together. That's light. You can't weigh light yet. Then all them light coming together could create the cloud, the heaviness. But that's all the sperm and seed that's planted, become the grass and the seed and stuff. Can't weigh that yet or whatever. But that's what those is. You know what I'm saying? Now y'all start talking about atoms and stuff like that. We just talking about different names for particulars of pieces from something that's large. So if we taking something that's large or macro and try to microsize it or whatever the case may be and try to find the smallest portion of it. All right. So you might got electric atoms. You know what I'm saying? You might got fossil atoms. You might got the particle atoms. You might just different names, gas atoms, gas particles or whatever. It's just different things that's already as a whole, that's small and big, that humans become retarded and say, well, maybe if we get more extractive, we get some money out of it and slap another name on it, like a fucus or something. Now, for the most part, here's the thing, right? So finding the particular space where you developed the original thoughts that created the particular organ, and that cell function development is where you need to start. And there's actually a plant, tree, parasite, bug, animal that directly matches the health or destruction of that particular organ. Now, me saying that is not me getting into capitalizing, calling this brain and saying and trying to tell y'all all this bias energy. Yeah, go out. You can heal yourself right now because there's a plant. Let me teach you the plant. No, what I'm saying is whatever you're dealing with, there's an external representation of it. I ain't say it's going to heal you, and I ain't say it's going to harm you. But what if you do deal with certain things, and if your organs is messed up, there's certain things that could speed up the destruction of your organ, and there's certain things that could speed up the healing of it, or whatever the case may be. And last time I checked, y'all already doing that anyway. You know what I'm saying? So let's not get besides our fact and get lost and try to play mind games with each other like how y'all humans be trying to do to get y'all self washed away. You know what I'm saying? And some stuff that y'all ain't got no business dealing with that y'all ain't aware yet until you die. But when y'all will understand that. But at the same time, when it comes to this information, because I didn't been there and done that, so you got to understand these are all humans, parasites, bugs. You got to understand what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Whether you and an ego or bias all you want, everything I'm talking about ain't got nothing to do with it, and you ain't gonna be able to make no money off of it either. Or you gonna be only thing you're gonna be able to do is take care of yourself with it. It's the only thing you're gonna be able to do. You know what I'm saying? Only thing you're gonna be able to do is get up, do a few cartwheels, and maybe you don't have kidney cancer no more. That's the only thing you're gonna be able to do. You ain't gonna be able to do nothing else. You know what I said? Nothing else. Because y'all humans be going too far, like that's retardedness at times, and then y'all be the only ones over exaggerating. So understand that. My video, this live stream ain't for you to jump on it and over exaggerate and be like, yeah, Archangel Uriel say you can do a cartwheel in the woods and there's a special Mario Kart apple in there and you eat it, there's gloating fleas are flying and it'll heal your goddamn AIDS or something. Nah. And I don't care about spoil some of y'all height eat too. A lot of y'all was like, oh, so you gonna teach me? Oh yeah, I got goddamn arthritis in my left kneecap or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Look, check this out, man. This is for cognitive concepts. So you start to take this and you're supposed to develop your own mind state. And I guarantee something will work for you. I guarantee you'll find what's allergic for you and you'll stop eating celery and you got like extra, you know what I'm saying, 6 stars off goddamn Grand Theft Auto and your kneecap power and stuff like that. And you never got to worry about nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. So it's about you just hearing what I'm saying. You could find yourself arguing, or you could find yourself being like, I already do something like this, or whatever the case may be. I do got this left shoulder blade problem, whatever the case. I guarantee you will heal faster than somebody else real quick. And I ain't tell you nothing. I ain't tell you no plan. Nothing. You got to develop your own mind. What I showed you was the what, the fixed. Was fixed what? Some God gave us all the ability. I can't teach you how to lift your goddamn left eyelid. I can't teach that. You know what I'm saying? You just know, a person talking right now got a left and right eyelid like me or whatever. Oh, okay, so there's a certain area where if you lift your left eyelid this way, you can see God left kneecap. Oh, Sarah, stop, that's it. You take it any further than that. Start looking at you like a scammer or something like the homegirl, shy and bread, whatever. Oh, better than that. Oh, better than that. Y'all fucked up today. Y'all humans, man. Y'all be messed up in the head, man. You gotta be careful when God's like, you God's children and God give you some expertise and smarts, comes great power, comes great responsibility and levels y'all never understand. You know what I'm saying? It's a certain times, it's certain words that you think everybody else is in, Michael Jordan world or something like that. Not when you God's children. You could come and say the same world is taken differently, it's reacted and responded to differently, and all. You know what I'm saying? It's all kind of come great power, come great responsibility. That's it. God's children ain't really got nothing else to really be telling people and stuff like that because y'all be lost in the sauce and stuff like that. Y'all trying to scam somebody right now. Some of y'all trying to scam your auntie right now. So y'all trying to scam y'all auntie right now. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all got fired last month, still trying to tell y'all auntie y'all still work. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to get your hopes up how she's gonna help you borrow some money or something like that. You know, they know damn well you got fired last month. Y'all better than that. That's all y'all really be on and stuff. This Gemini season, y'all really more invested into that. So I get it. Stuff like this ain't important. Stuff like this ain't exciting. Stuff like this ain't Nobel Peace Prize-y unless it's on a goddamn billboard, unless it's rocking somebody to sleep, and everybody in all ethnic groups get rocked to sleep and speak for someone else that's degenerate or something like that, right? But when the real deal stuff come around or whatever, people act clueless. They act like it ain't around. They make themselves hot. They want to complain like it ain't people like me online. They want to act like, yeah, where's people like, I've been online longer than you. Shut up. No, I'm saying real stuff like that's how I be looking at it. I don't be trying to prove nothing to nobody. I'll be hearing stuff like, wait a minute, is you working? Or you just really don't know about it. You know what I'm saying? It can only be 2 routes when it comes to God children. It don't be what all y'all humans be involved in. It don't be having nothing to do with that. We work on macro levels of reality. You know what I'm saying? God's children work on macro levels of reality. It's impossible. You could be middle of desert, death storms, or whatever the case may be. You don't know about God's children. So it's only 2 ways you don't know about God's children. You acting like you don't know and creating a whole psyop around God's children, or you really just don't know. And you somebody live up under a rock anyway. That's the only two routes. That's the only two. You saw one that you know and everybody else should know. And it's a conspiracy why it don't seem like it. And then somebody who really don't know, no one knows that it's a person who don't know. Nobody know that person anyway. That's the only two routes. It's a conspiracy. I love all y'all from the bottom of the internet. We're the whistleblowers. That. Pipe off this official. Pipe off this. You're now listening to the bottom of that taste move. I'm the Royal Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and beep, goddamn responsibilities, and obligations, and duties, and goddamn to take over everything. And rack the swat, hell, hold that, yellow, who? Massasoit, mama na toy. Hee, woo, Masasaki.